You didn't think about me? It's not that he didn't love me. No matter where he was, no matter when he called. Whew, girlfriend, keep phone steady. What? I don't know what that was about. And it's framing my face. Is that what it's... Girl, I didn't know I could do that on this phone. Oh, shoot. You learn something new all the time. Okay. Huh. This is what my granddaughter's the phone does when we're talking on her face, like it moves around with her, and we've been trying to figure out, I don't know how the heck it got turned on, but I'm kind of glad it got turned on because I needed it to be turned on, but that's about to worry me. I think that's going to stress me out, this phone moving in and out, the camera moving in and out. But girl, we're supposed to get some inclement weather coming in tomorrow. And they said they were going to change the schedule around, which is good because I wasn't going to be trying to slip and slide all the way to that job anyway. I don't play that. I did that a few years ago, slipping and sliding to work and home from work, trying to get home from work. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And I vowed that I would never do that again because it was dangerous. And girl, if I turn my car, that company is not going to pay for it. So I vowed that I would not do that again. This is my mug that I got from my godmom. She sent me this a while ago. It's called Put on All of God's Head. In the world of today, you know what? I got to figure out something about that. Using that Micah Sure. What is that? That milk thing, frother thingy. I got to cut back on the creamer. Excuse me, because the creamer is almost too much for me. Why is my head hurting? Allergies this morning, I think. Oh, girl, this is my, I subscribe to Cloth and Paper. I've got, so yeah, no, it's still going to zoom in. So this was one of the months, and it was called the Wellness. I love when they was giving us these bags. I don't do every month. I always like to look at this previews to see what they're doing for the month. And then I will, decide whether I get it or not. And this was the Wellness. I think this was the Wellness Cloth and Paper. I just love the blue. I think it's so cute. I have not used it yet. I find that a lot of their stuff, how could I say this? You don't need. Especially if you have planner stuff already. Like a lot of this stuff you just really don't need. Excuse me, a lot of stuff you might want, but it's not a need. So with that being said, I pick and choose which months I actually want to get their, planner stuff. I was going to cancel it for this month and I missed it. So I didn't meet the deadline. But anyway, we're going to be doing something, pretty cool, I hope, anyway, in the coming year with planning. Thank you to Lisa. Because she did request it and I had someone else request it as well. So and it's not a bother. I'm glad when you all make suggestions about, videos that you would like to see and stuff like that, because hey, you're watching, right? So what do you want to see? My scarf matches my pillow. I did, and I didn't showcase my Christmas decor like I normally do. Like I usually do a dedicated video to like each room and just show you the decor and tree and stuff like that. I didn't this year, and I don't know. Time was really a problem this year for me. Well, last year, last year, the Christmas season. It was just timing, what I'm saying? Timing, and I was just tired a lot of times when I got home from work, and I just didn't feel like it and stuff like that. But it's okay. But so I had a leopard tree skirt, and then I had some leopard on that tree. It was really beautiful. And I did like a video, but I didn't really like zoom in and show you the intricate parts of the tree and stuff, 100 Days of Faith Over Fear devotional journal. This is what I have been reading lately. And I don't read it every day, but I do read it, and I keep it like right here on the chair. So when I come in here, usually when I come here to have my coffee, if I come here to have my coffee, I'll pick up something and read. That is one of the things I am trying to focus on this year, is getting back to praying more. I'm gonna tell you, I took a hit. Spiritually, I did take a hit, a serious hit, in 2000. When my son died. So I talk to God, I trust God, believe in God, but just my dedicated time alone to God has suffered because I went through a period of being angry. Not. Let me say this: I was not angry with God, but I was disappointed. I will say that I was disappointed because his death was not the outcome I expected. I knew that it was possible. I knew that he talked about it for years and years and years and years. He always, always, always talked about suicide. That's something he always, always talked about. Always. And so I knew it was a possibility, I think, but I was just so hopeful and prayerful because I prayed so hard, girl. Let me tell you something. I pray for all my kids. I pray for all my kids, but that child right there, I prayed. He kept me on my knees. I definitely had a serious relationship with God throughout the years because of that one particular son, I will say. So when it happened, I was disappointed. I was so. I was hurt, disappointed because let me tell you something. I spent most of my time, so much of my time was dedicated to Adrian. So much of my prayers, my time, I pray for everybody. I pray for myself. I pray for everybody. But you got to understand, because he was so troubled, a lot of my time and attention went to him. Like it did. So and I got to take my time, when I talk about these subjects. So even though I knew it was possible, I knew he talked about it all the time. And, I always tried to get him help. I had him committed so many times. But the problem is that, unfortunately, the system is not set up to prevent, they would commit him, admit him, whatever. And the most he would stay most of the time was 7 days. And he's ready. No, he's not. Because, you have to go to like meetings and stuff like that before they, discharge him and stuff. And I'm like, he's not ready to come home. I tell them people so many times, he's not ready to come home. He's not ready to come home. And each time they would just let him go. One time he stayed almost 2 months. It was about 2 months in a facility. But he was so smart. He was so smart. He could manipulate the system. He would take his meds, long enough to come out of wherever he was, and he would comply. This particular facility kept his tail, though. The counselor called me, and she, oh my gosh, she had him. I was so pleased because she had him like she saw through the facade. She saw through it all. So he was there for about 2 months. And the sad part about it is that the only time I saw peace, and this is going to sound bad, but the only time I saw peace was when Adrian was locked up in jail or when he was in an institution, because I knew where he was. I knew where he was. I knew he wasn't going to hurt anybody. Well, let me say, it sounds crazy because jail is the last place you want to think of your child being. I'm not saying I was glad when he was locked up, but I could see peace sometimes, because in my mind, not knowing, looking at the videos, stuff like that now, I knew Adrian could handle himself. He handled himself really well. And this is going to sound bad, but we kept him with commissary. So he always had money. He always had food. We always had money on the books. He could always call home. So jail to him was like damn near like a retreat, I feel like. Girl, it's so much ground to cover with this topic. Like it is, because I had 29 years of it. 29 years. But I knew it was a possibility. But with the day that sheriff, I'll never forget her face. I'll never forget the incident. I mean, it was just, when that lady knocked on the door and asked me my name, and I told her yes, and she told me that my son had died. Well, he suffered a gunshot wound that he did not recover from. At first, I'm like, it didn't register what she said. I'm like, what? So when she said it again, I said, so is he okay? Now, she said he did not recover, but I remember asking her, so is he okay? And she was like, no, ma'am. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? She was like, he didn't make it. And I'm like, girl, and I just immediately, I almost hit the floor. But this is going to sound crazy. Like, I almost hit the floor. My husband came and grabbed me. And a voice, he came and grabbed me. I, got control of myself. He helped me to the chair to sit down. A voice said to me, now you can rest. Honest to God. It said, now you can rest. And I just, how you're like, rest? I mean, it didn't make sense. But that voice said, now you can rest. And when I think back and I think about it, there were so many restless days, restless nights, phone calls, just everything. But I would do it all over again. I would still be going through it just to have him here. You know what I'm saying? But how did I even get on this subject? I don't even know how I got on this subject. But I had said that I was going to start, doing videos about it. So I think, looking back and thinking about everything, I knew it was very well possible. I knew at any moment someone could come and tell me that Adrian had been killed, or he had killed somebody, or that he had committed suicide. Died by suicide. It took me the longest time to even be able to say suicide. I could not say the words. I couldn't. When somebody asked me, what happened, I just, he died. You know what I'm saying? He died. A gunshot wound. He died. I didn't want nobody to talk about it. I didn't want nobody to say. I didn't want anybody to say suicide. I didn't want anybody to say he shot himself. I didn't want nobody to say that, period. For the first few years, I would say, I just recently got so, probably in the last year, that I could even say suicide. You know what I'm saying? That he died by suicide. That I could say it and not get those feelings, not get those feelings that would come about when I would say it, because it's so painful and it's so hurtful, because that's the one thing that I when I tell you I could save him from, I could know when he's in trouble, and I could know when I need to, make the phone call. I could know when I needed to get him help. But I had COVID, I was sick. And I remember saying to myself, because I saw his post, I talked to him, I had seen him. I knew he was really, really down. I'll never forget the Sunday before. It happened on a Monday. The Sunday before it happened, I was getting out the bathtub. I was feeling a little better. I had been sick for 2 weeks. And that was when, COVID, they were telling you don't go to the hospital. There's no need to go to the hospital. I'll never forget, I did the video because I had been riding around, gathering food, gathering stuff, tissues, and a whole bunch of stuff. You go back to my videos there, I had just been making drop-offs to people. Like, it was crazy. All I was doing, I was out there. But Adrian was so troubled. He was so troubled. He hated being here. As much as he loved his family, as much as he loved all of us, he hated living. He hated being on this earth. And sometimes, it bothers me because when I tell you that we did everything, I in particular did everything in my power to keep him here, to have him to want to be here. I ran up and down the road. There's no place he would be that I wouldn't go. Oh, my head is pounding. There's no place that he would be that I would not go. I would travel by myself many, many miles, hour away, hour and a half away. Oftentimes at night by myself, It's so crazy because it's like, even though Adrian was so troubled and he always had favor, like everywhere he went, everybody, like when he wasn't being violent and stuff, even if he was violent, people still loved him. They loved him. So in jail, he would get special privileges and treatments. And it's crazy because a lot of stuff that Adrian was allowed to do, most people just are not allowed to do. In the institutions that he would go to, they loved him. They would call him a junior tech and stuff like that. He was so helpful. And it's so crazy because he was violent. You know what I'm saying? He was violent, but he was so lovable at the same time. Like, he was full of advice. He was just such a different person. In 29 years, he lived the life of an 80-year-old. It's like he did so much in that span of time. A lot of stories that people hear us tell, if you did not know him, you would believe that we're lying, because the shit that he got away with and stuff that he did, it's just most people don't get away with it. Most people don't. But, I felt like he had such favor because the court system would not hold him accountable and keep him. There was no punishment for him. He would represent himself and get out of jail. He was extremely intelligent. It's just crazy because we laugh because it was times that he would do stuff and I'd be like, I know he's going to prison this time. And he would go to court, honest to God, represent himself. He went to court so much, I got tired of going to court because I was embarrassed. People don't even know, like, when you have a child that's bipolar, ADHD, have, mental health issues and just are in trouble all the time, as a parent, you stay embarrassed. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was hurt. I was embarrassed because it was just no reason for him to display this kind of behavior. He had everything he needed. Like, when I tell you, like, because of his, mental health issues, he and I spent probably more time together alone. Because, you know, a lot of times, you know, I was the one to go visit him no matter where he was. A lot of times I did it alone. I thank God because I traveled many, many, many miles by myself, alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so my adrenaline would always be pumping. I would always be so excited to see him walk through the door, you know? And I was always hopeful, you know, like, okay, maybe this time he'll get what he needs. Maybe this time will make a difference. Or at least for right now, he's safe. You know what I'm saying? He's safe. And that was always because I had to work and I couldn't monitor him 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? And oh God, so much. But you know, this is just one of the videos, one of the many videos that I will do is that, and you know, so I tell people, don't, even if they're in jail, even if they are in an institution, always, always keep up with your child. Never, ever, ever just let them be thrown away somewhere and you don't know what's going on with them. You know, he could always call me. Yes, I got frustrated. Yes, I got tired. Yes, I was stressed out a lot of the times. But we are the kind of family that especially when he got older. When I was tired, because, you know, when they get older and they're past 18, oh my God, your hands really become tired and you really go through so much. It's damn near impossible to get them any help when they get older and stuff. But we are the kind of family that, even though I travel, you know, my kids, I mean, the other ones were younger, but at the same time, they worked. And we always supplied him with what he needed. And sometimes that might not be, no, I'm not going to say that because I felt like he needed us. And we had to be there for him. As much as he stressed us out, he worried us, you know, because it was never a dull moment with him. He was always doing something. And it would be so bad sometimes that, you know, if I didn't know what was going on with him, my other kids would call and be like, Mom, you need to sign them papers. You need to have him committed because, you know, they knew what he was doing, you know, when he got older in his early 20s and stuff like that, that I didn't know. And it's so funny because the system just, I ain't gonna say funny because it's not funny. It's so horrible that the system does not help you at all. So I knew one day I could possibly get that phone call. Honestly, most of the time when I think about it, I'm surprised Adrian made it to 29. I didn't expect him because of the lifestyle he lived and the stuff that he did. I didn't expect him to make it to 29, to be honest. But anyway, God saw fit to keep him here. Probably till I was strong enough to handle him not being here, you know? And he had never tried suicide before, but he was a cutter. He did so much stuff, but, you know, we'll get into that in more videos. But if somebody really don't want to be here, they really, really, really don't want to be here, it's almost impossible. You can prolong the process, but looking back, It was bound to happen. He didn't want to be here, you know. And one of the hardest things to do is accept the fact that no matter how much you give of yourself, how much you try to be there and show them how much you love them, how much you'll go to the ends of the earth for them. If up here is telling them and right here is telling them they don't want to be here, it's probably just a matter of time, years, you know, months, years, that they are going to do exactly what they say, that they don't want to be here. But yeah, so this is just one video of many to come. This is a new year, and I think I'm strong enough, you know, to talk about some things, because I do, like I said in the other video, I really feel like it will help somebody that has been through it, that's going through it, that you may have a family member that's always threatening to not be here. And you just got to know that it's very well possible that they won't be here, you know, at some point. So in the back of my mind, I always knew that was a possibility. I always knew it was a possibility, but it still does not take away the hurt and the pain and the anger and the frustration, because I was so angry with him. I was angry with Adrian, because I was just like, how selfish of you. I gave you my everything, How selfish of you to do this to me. Of all people. You didn't think about me? Of all people in your life. You didn't think about me? And I was in the counseling session, and girl, sometimes all I could do with that therapist is just cry the whole time, just cry. And during my, you know, time alone and thinking back and stuff like that, and just even through the therapy sessions and stuff, it's like at that time when they're going through, there's so much pain. It's not that they don't think about us. It's just that. And when I, you know, think about Adrian and think back, I really totally get it. It's not that he didn't love me. It's just that time, his pain was just so much to bear. And I talked to him hours before it happened. And he was down. It was late. It was 1 a.m. It was late, 1 a.m. And I was like, Adrian, I'll come pick you up. Even though I was sick, you know, still sick, I'll come pick you up. And he was just like, Mom, I'll call you and let you know if I want you to come pick me up. And he said, I'm just tired, Mom. And that one statement, I was the last one he talked to in our family. And he said, I'm just tired, Mom. And, you know, I'll come pick you up. I'll come get you. You know, I'll come get you. And he was probably like 45 minutes away, but I didn't care. I would go get him at 1 a.m. I would go get him no matter where he was, no matter when he called. I would go. And he hung up. And I kept trying to call him back, And I couldn't get him back on the phone. And I said, you know what? I'll just talk to him tomorrow. Anymore, because really I didn't know where he was. He wasn't at his house. So I knew he wasn't at his house. He was with a friend somewhere. So I did tell him, I'll come and get you. But his last words to me really was, I'm just tired, Mom. And those words often ring in my mind when I think about him. Today, he was just tired. He was so tired. He was so tired. He was tired of the lifestyle. He was tired of, so many times he would lay on my shoulder and cry and ask me why he had to be different and why, and that's another conversation. But spend all the time that you can with your loved one. Try your best to get them help. Don't give up. Do everything you can so at the end you can say, you know what? I did every single thing I could try. I supported. I helped. In his later years, I started holding him somewhat accountable. Like I'll stop going to the court dates because I was just like, I'm tired of going to the court dates. I'm embarrassed. I'm tired. So I stopped going to the court dates, but I would go pick him up when it was over. I would pick him up. I would go see him. I would give him money. I would, my entire family, he would call sometimes on a holiday if he locked up, and he would say, he talked to everybody. And when at the end, everybody, I'm going to give your mom some money. And that's exactly what happened. They would give him money to go on his commissary. I never forget one time he got transferred from one jail to the other. He couldn't take his commissary with him to the other place. So they stayed at home. He had so much shit in that trash. They sent a trash bag home of stuff. And I'm like, who the hell needs this much stuff? Who needs this much stuff in jail? Like, this is crazy. And so he couldn't sit at home. It was like $100-something worth of stuff that we had given him the money for. He got his commissary. Then they transferred him. So they sent it all home. So the kids had snacks for days. It was crazy. So then I had to fill his commissary back up at the new place that he was so that, he could start it all over again. And Asian life was full of laughter, though. He pissed you off, but he provided so much laughter. And girl, let me get off of this video. It's long enough, but I do want to just say, I keep saying I want to say, but these are the things that I want to say because they're so important. That hang in there, be there, hang in there, be there. And if you are the person that is experiencing these thoughts and stuff, I want to say to you that your family loves you. Sometimes you may have just made it difficult for them to be at your every beck and call, but they love you. They love you. And you will nearly destroy the people that you leave behind. Because I have struggled. I still have struggles. My marriage has struggled. Because, I'm not the person I used to be. My other kids struggle. They hurt. So it's not just you. It's the people you leave behind struggle. If you have kids, your kids struggle. I mean, it's a plethora of people that struggle. Your aunts, your uncles, your everybody. Everybody struggles. So get some help. Like, if you gotta take medicine, take the medicine. Do whatever you can to stay here, because you deserve to be here. Your family loves you. Like, oh my gosh. Anyway, this is video 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. There will be more. If you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel and let's chat it up. I'm, for the most part, an upbeat, happy person. My videos are mostly upbeat, happy, but this is a segment of my life that I want to begin to share this year. There'll be videos sprinkled in and out. Like I said, there'll be older videos that will be coming, because it's a lot to say about somebody not being here, and how it affects the family, how it affects the mom. Oh my God, how it affects the mom. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Let's get up. We got things to do today, and I will holler back at you in the next video. Bye, girl. I gotta go take some medicine. My allergies adding up today, and I'm crying, but it's gonna be all right. Bye, girl.